we have Dr. Fasoyiro with us today. Dr. Fasoyiro is another foreign trained dentist from Nigeria, and he's here to hi doc. He's here to come share his experience, the whole application process. We wouldn't be dwelling too much on that, and then also just the interview process, the bench test experience. Okay, all right. So I'm just gonna add him on now. 1 second. All right. Hopefully, what happened yesterday will happen today. Just waiting for him to join. So I set the invite, just waiting for him to join us. Instagram is trying to spoil our shine today, but that's not gonna happen. I'm not really sure what's going on, but oh, perfect.
Okay, I think it's just better I join with my phone. So
okay, perfect. Funny, I'm actually doing this on my phone too because my laptop is just very finicky about Instagram. I don't know why.
yeah, I think the same thing with me too. So
same thing with you. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So everyone, we have Dr. Fasoyiro here to speak with us. Thank you for coming to speak with us. Congratulations on your graduation. Dr. Fasoyiro graduated this year. I mean, it's such a big deal because it's like, they're going to start spending that dentistry money. But anyways, let's just dive right into it because we just have like an hour for this, maybe an hour, 30 minutes. I don't know. Let's see. So Dr. Fasoyiro, can you just speak briefly about, who are you? Like, where are you from? Where did you get your BDS degree from? And let's just start with that first. So BDS, like the Bachelor's in Dental Surgery. Let's just start with that first.
Okay, yeah. I got my BDS from Obafemi University back in Nigeria. For those that don't know, and that was in 2009. Yeah, 2009.
Okay.
Then 09, 10, I did my house job.
Okay.
Then 10, 11, NYC. Then 12, I started residency. Yeah, basically.
Residency. Okay, and how long was residency for?
Well, residence, for those that are not Nigerians, they won't understand. Residency in Nigeria takes, on the average, 5 to 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because you do we do about 24 to 30 months of junior residency.
Okay.
Which is like GPR in this part of the world.
Okay.
So we'll do that, then go in for part 1.
Okay.
Then when you now do your part 1, then you now do what exactly you want to be doing. If it's surgery, perio, ortho. So on the average, most programs take about 6 years, really. About 6 years.
So you did that for 6 years, and then you moved to Canada, and then you got into an international dentist program. Where did you have your DDS degree from? What school and then what year?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
State University of New York, Buffalo. That was from 2020 to 2022. Yeah.
2022. All right. So do you have any other certifications, any other degrees? Because I know Nigerians, you guys like to read all the books in the world. So do you have any other certifications, any other degrees that you thought, okay, let me just get this degree as well?
Well, I would say the only degree I have or I did was basically my postgraduate training back in Nigeria.
Okay.
Really.
And that was
that was it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I just came here, and I got into I started trying to get into dental school immediately I came to Canada.
Oh, okay. So, sorry, if you don't mind me asking, when did you immigrate to Canada?
Okay. I moved. Okay, we landed 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, but with a soft landing, so went back to Nigeria. Then I moved back 2018 also.
Okay.
That's in 2018. I think it was August or September.
Okay.
And I've been in Canada since then.
Okay, so you landed and then immediately just started the process to get into a dental school. All right.
Immediately.
That's good. That's kind of like similar to what I did as well. So So since you immigrated to Canada in 2018, so why
Yeah.
did you choose the US? Why did you
Hmm.
decide to go to the US for school and
Hmm.
not Canada?
Interesting question. Um, when I moved to Canada,
Okay.
I'm trying to just be systematic about it. Okay.
Okay.
Before moving, okay, I guess the way I was started before moving, um, my thinking is that okay, moving to Canada is one thing is one thing on its own.
And so on. Yeah.
What you are coming to do in Canada is another thing on its own.
Yes. Yes.
So before moving to Canada, I explored
Okay.
career opportunities for myself, and also I knew along that okay, um, there's a pathway to get into the program in Canada or to get licensed in
Okay.
Canada. There's a pathway to get licensed in the US.
Okay.
So for me, what I did was from the start, I gave myself options. It was
Okay.
like okay, Canada has a pathway. Um, Getting to the US too is a pathway, but well, I won't say I had one preference over the other, but it was like I
Okay.
was just open to both. It was just like
Okay.
okay, which one would work first.
Okay.
So like I said, not like I said, I hit the ground running immediately I came. I then it was still per NDB per one per two when I came.
Okay. Okay.
I came February, right? I came February. I took my per one. Was it March or April? April, yeah. I came
Okay.
February. I took part one April. I went back that same April. I came back in August, and the week I came back, I took part two immediately.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, and in that same time frame too, I applied to the dental board in Canada to get
Okay.
licensed to take my AFK and all. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
you know, they can be. It took a
A long
while. It took so
time.
long
Yeah.
exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
I got approval in December 2018
Okay.
to write AFK.
Mm-hmm.
So even as of that December 2018, I could not write. I think AFK is twice a year, correct?
Yes. Yes. It's twice a year. Yes.
February and
And August.
March, August or here.
Yes. Yes.
So as at December 2018, when they gave me approval to write
Mm.
AFK, I could not
Mm-hmm.
even take February.
Yes.
So the rest I was going to take was going to be August.
August. Okay.
And at
Because it
that
was
point,
too close. Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
had my, and at that point, I had my part one, part two. So
Okay.
there was no point. So I just said no, there is no point going that route
Waiting.
anymore. So I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just went with since I had done my part one and part two and I was ready to start applying. I think I didn't even apply to one or two schools then. So I
Okay.
just felt there was no point. So I just continued with the US route.
Okay.
So
All right.
for me, what I would say is anybody coming to Canada, it may seem more expensive because you're spending money in two places, spending on this board, spending on that board, but you're
Mm.
giving yourself options really. So
Mm.
that's just my own opinion. That's like
Yeah.
my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm happy that you said that because, looking back for me, I wish I had spread my wings, out more. Because when I came to Canada, I just applied to Canadian schools and I just applied to US schools one cycle and I got in. So in retrospect, I'm like, maybe I should have just, spread my wings from the beginning. But anyways, God knows best.
Mm,
So the
yeah.
advice I actually give you now is when you come in, like, yeah, it might be more expensive, but in a way, it's kind of like
It
wiser.
pays off. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it pays
faster.
up more if you spread your wings. You're doing
Yeah.
US, you're doing Canada, you're doing because the thing is, even when you're preparing for preparing ahead, hoping for an interview slot, the preparation, the clinical skill acquisition is the same thing.
The
So
same
anyway, it kind of
thing.
also saves you the
The
cost as
same thing,
well,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
True.
perfect. So my next question is can you just list out the schools that you applied to
Hmm.
for the cycle? Or first
Okay,
of all,
then.
how many application cycles did you go for? You just did one, right?
No, I won't say I did one. I
Okay,
won't say I
okay,
did one, and I won't say I did
okay,
two.
okay. So
I
one
will
and
say
a
one and
half.
a half. I will say one and a half.
Okay.
Okay. You know, like I said I came in 2018. I hit the ground
Yeah.
running. So
Okay.
when I wrote per 120 March, I said April. We came
Yes. Yes.
February. I took per one April. So
Okay.
I think by April or May, I had my per one results. I was even
Okay.
back in Nigeria. I took TOEFL in Nigeria.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay. Okay.
there are some schools that you can actually apply with per one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think
Yes.
Boston. I think I applied to Boston and USC.
Okay.
So I
Okay,
applied
we
to
just a
Boston and
part one.
USC with just part
Okay.
one. It
Okay.
was a long shot, but there's no I'm
Mm.
trying. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I applied to those schools. That was like June, July. By that point, I was praying for part two. So by
Okay.
the time I took part two in August, September, I can't remember the dates now. Okay, it was September because yeah, it was September. Yeah. By the time I took part two
Okay.
in September,
Mm.
most schools when my result came out, it was like September ending, early October.
Mm. Mm.
Practically all schools are closed.
Had closed.
Yeah,
Okay.
practically all
Okay.
schools are closed. So although I still went ahead, for example, USC waitlisted me just in
Okay.
my part
Okay.
one. So when my
Okay.
part two came out, I think it was the week of bench test. I think yeah, it was
Oh.
that same week of bench test. I just sent them me that now I have part two just in case
Okay.
anything comes up or not.
Comes
But
up. Yeah.
unfortunately, I wasn't called for an
For an
interview in
interview.
USC.
Okay. Okay.
Now I then applied to there's some schools that their what's it called their application cycle extends to like later in the
Mm.
year or
Yes. Yes.
early the following year. So I
Yeah.
applied to Colorado, Washington, and VCU in
Okay.
that same cycle.
Oh yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would say I applied to three schools with my part one
Okay.
and part two that same cycle.
Okay.
And fortunately, I actually got interview calls really. I got
Oh
calls in
really?
Colorado. I got calls in Colorado and Washington states.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I wasn't accepted.
Okay.
So that was not like a full cycle.
Mm.
Then the next cycle was like my full cycle.
Okay.
That was not the one I now got into Buffalo.
Buffalo.
So I
Okay.
would say my cycle was like 1.5, or
One and a
let
half.
me just say two.
Two.
That first
Okay.
cycle was not like it was
Was
not
that
like
really?
I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the luxury of applying to too many schools. And
Yes.
by the time I had
Yes.
my part two, I just gave it a shot to three schools, and yeah, at least, and yeah, I would say up to because at least it gave me an experience of what Benton looks like and all.
Yes.
So it was
Yes.
easier for me when I went for the next cycle.
For the next cycle. Okay, got
Yeah.
it. So your second cycle, I know you said you applied to University of Buffalo. Like at the second cycle, what other schools did you apply to?
I applied to a
And
couple of
what?
schools actually. I
Okay.
applied to Buffalo. I was actually looking at schools towards the because I live in Calgary, so I was looking at schools
Okay.
towards the west,
Like
California
closer
schools.
to you. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Even that
Okay.
one too was funny because even that one too, I almost messed it up. Because
Oh really?
when I went for Colorado,
Mm.
I felt Colorado was good. That okay, no, I would get in here. After
Mm.
from my first cycle,
Mm.
when I went to Washington, that one I
Mm.
messed up. I knew it was my bad test. I messed up, so I
Mm.
wasn't expecting anything good. But by the time I went for Colorado, I felt Colorado was good, so I felt okay.
Okay.
I would Colorado will pick me.
Okay.
But
Okay.
on the flip side, I also wasn't picked in Colorado. I was waitlisted.
Okay.
So because
Okay.
of that, because I think I was a bit overconfident that Colorado will pick me, so I
Mm.
delayed a bit with
Okay. Your
the new
application.
cycle.
Okay.
So by the
Okay.
time I now started the application again too, some schools had closed, but
Okay.
I still had options.
Mm.
Actually, I still had a couple of schools that I could apply to. It wasn't like
Okay.
as well as the first cycle.
Okay.
So I applied to. So now when I um now applied full time, I applied to. Okay, let me start. So I'll be systematic. So I don't mix things up. I
Okay.
applied to UCLA. I applied to USC. That was the West. Then
Okay.
I applied to Colorado. No, not Colorado. Then Colorado was the first cycle.
The first
Then
cycle.
I then I applied to Buffalo. I applied to Rutgers. I
Mm.
applied to. Did I do Boston? I didn't do Boston. I didn't do Boston the
Okay.
following year. I
Okay.
did. I did Columbia,
Okay.
and I did one more. One more. There was one more. I didn't do OYU. I said Rutgers, right?
Yeah, you
Rutgers.
did.
Rutgers. Um. Oh my God, I've forgotten the schools.
It's
Rutgers.
okay.
Give me a minute. I'll remember now.
Okay.
Rutgers, Buffalo. There was one more in the Columbia. One more in the East. Howard.
Howard.
I applied
Oh,
to
okay.
Howard. Yeah, I
Okay.
applied to
Yep.
Howard.
Okay. All right.
Then on West, I applied to UCLA, USC.
Okay, so and then how many of them, like what were the schools that got back to you in terms of like an interview
Yeah, Buffalo got back to
invite?
me. Buffalo got back
Mm-hmm.
to me. USC got back to me. UCLA got back to me.
Yes, okay.
Then yeah, Rutgers and what's it called? Rutgers and Owo never got back to me.
No, got back to you, okay.
Then Columbia put me on. Those ones were just fun. I guess those ones just took my money. Those ones put me on like a wait list.
Okay.
Because actually, I think maybe with hindsight, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I should have actually applied to Columbia, because on their application page they said they
Mm.
prefer people with green card holders.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay. Okay.
I called
Mm-hmm.
and I said, see, I mean, I don't have a green card. That
Mm-hmm.
I'm permanent resident of Canada. That can I go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and apply? So they
Mm-hmm.
said yes, I should go ahead and apply. Well, but thinking about it now, would they tell me not to apply? Obviously, they told me to
Exactly.
apply, so
Exactly. They
I
wouldn't. Yeah,
applied. So they
exactly.
said they just sent one funny mail about me being in one. It was a wait list too, but the way they coined it was funny. So maybe I just said that these ones were not going to call me.
Yeah.
So it was basically UCLA, USC, and Buffalo. At least I got
Buffalo.
invites from those ones.
Only three of
Then
them. Okay.
I never got invites from what's it called?
Okay.
Howard
All right.
Howard
And
and
Howard.
Rutgers. Howard and Rutgers.
Okay, and
Howard
Rutgers.
and
Okay.
Rutgers, yeah.
Okay, so it was UCLA, Buffalo, and what was the
USC.
other school? USC.
USC.
Okay. All right. So I know you already mentioned that the reason why you were very strategic in your application, and I've heard that a lot.
Mm,
So you already mentioned that you applied to schools that were closer to Calgary
yeah.
because you lived in Calgary. Is there any other reason, like was there any other strategy or any other thing you had in mind, like when you were applying, or was it just the location?
No, not just location, not just location.
Okay.
There are a couple of things that you look at because maybe,
Okay.
like you said, this is just you have to be strategic. You need to
Yeah.
put your best foot forward.
Yes. Yes.
Besides that, you need to look at yourself, look at your profile,
Mm.
be able to truthfully critique yourself. Okay, that what is
Mm.
my strong point? What is it about my profile that makes me
Mm.
strong? What is it about my profile that makes me stand out? What's about my
Okay.
profile that is like a disadvantage? So
Yeah.
basically, so those things that seem like a disadvantage, what I think you should do is push them to the back. Do you
Okay.
understand? A
Mm-hmm.
classic example is most of us applicants from Nigeria.
Mm.
Although I
Mm-hmm.
think those people are beginning to understand anyways. But most of us
Mm-hmm.
applicants from Nigeria, we tend not to have very very good GPAs
ICP.
when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to CP,
Okay.
EC or West evaluation.
Okay.
Do you understand? But some schools
Mm-hmm.
don't understand. But
Okay.
some tend to understand. So
Okay.
for someone like me, it wasn't that my GPAs were good, not to any fault of mine, but it was just because of our
Mm-hmm.
training.
Okay.
Our training was just get a C, and
Mm-hmm.
but on the long run, it now comes to show when we do all these EC evaluations. So
Mm-hmm.
for example, what I did, another thing I did was that I did both West and EC.
Okay.
So I had my
Okay.
EC evaluation, I had my West evaluation, and my West
Okay.
evaluation was higher compared to my
Higher.
EC.
Okay. Okay.
So when looking at schools to apply, to also look at schools, or I looked at schools that um, just don't consider EC alone.
Alone.
So
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I try to look at schools that consider both EC and West.
West. Okay.
But
Okay.
funny enough, most of the schools that I got invites from, really,
Mm.
most
Mm-hmm.
of the schools that I got invited from, if I put everything in total, five, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got more invites from schools that look at EC alone. So
Mm-hmm.
your GP alone is, how would I put it? I'm trying to coin it in,
They don't
let me
just look at that alone. They look at the
GP is not the
entire
only ahead. They look at the whole
mm-hmm.
they look at the whole picture. Do you understand?
picture.
But
Okay. Okay.
that was my thought pattern when I was applying. That okay, let me try to look at schools that consider both West and EC,
You
because
see.
schools
Okay.
like that, if you have both West and EC, what
Mm-hmm.
schools like that do is that they just pick um, the evaluation that gave you the higher GPA. Do
Oh,
you
okay.
understand? Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what I heard, though. Anyway,
Okay.
so but
Okay.
the hindsight is not a, it's a single fact that
Factor.
it's not what they single out. You understand? Like I said,
Yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
the whole big picture. Then
Mm.
some other thing. Well, for me, I didn't mind. I didn't mind. So some people say they try to avoid schools that do bed tests, all that.
Yes, I've heard of that too.
But me, I didn't mind. Me, I just
Mm.
was ready to just. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't mind
Mm-hmm.
because really, I think the only good school that I think doesn't do bed test to me, Sha, is
Mm.
okay. There are a couple of them actually.
Mm.
Buffalo, no, Rutgers,
Boston. Mm-hmm.
Boston. No, I tell you when I mean good schools, I mean schools that you. No, okay. Don't let me. I'm not trying to
You're
run
not trying
down
to, yeah,
Boston or
yeah, yeah,
hair,
yeah.
but I'm
But
just
like
saying that
according to your requirements, what you needed for your education, those were the things that you were. Those were the
I
schools that.
won't.
Okay.
Rutgers, Pennsylvania, is it UPenn?
Yeah.
And there's one more, and UIC.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay. Mm-hmm.
then my findings was that UIC and UPenn they
Mm-hmm.
usually prefer people with green cards, so I didn't apply to those ones.
Oh. Okay.
That's what I
Okay.
heard.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works now, but
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
heard then. So I just didn't bother
Okay.
applying to those schools. So the only
Okay.
one without bench test that I applied to was Rutgers. Even that one too. It was funny because those ones too. They usually because they don't do bench test, so
Mm.
they usually have a large pool of applicants.
Okay.
So they
Okay.
tend to just find ways to just weed out
So
applicants.
just like
Things
cut
like
down. Okay.
if you took the boards more than once,
Mm.
that's an automatic, as in they won't invite you.
Disqualification. Mm-hmm.
If you in your transcript, if they see any receipt in your transcript,
Mm.
those are the things that they usually look at. I think those things are just like it's not written in black and white. You
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
But
But from
it's just like
experience. Yeah.
it's just what they use to
Mm-hmm.
like without candidates and all. But I'm
Yeah.
not saying
Yeah.
because at least this year now I know someone that got in without that took the board twice
Mm.
into Rutgers. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a rule that is written in black and
Mm.
white. I think it's just what they
Yeah.
use to just without people. So even at
Okay.
that, I think I still applied to Rutgers, but
Okay.
I wasn't invited. So for me, it was just ECE West strategic where I think I will get good training and then I won't be too far from
From
home.
home.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
Perfect. All right. So things like so you already said that you didn't do a master's. I've heard that people there's this belief that all right, I won't say there's this belief, but obviously like doing a master's helps your application. And I know that you also said that you had a residency. So that kind of do you feel like that kind of like made up for the fact that you didn't have a
Yeah,
master's? Or yeah, okay. So you
yeah,
probably okay, so that made up for that. Okay, perfect.
yeah. It definitely did because like I said, you just look at yourself,
Mm,
evaluate what you've done. Do you understand?
mm, mm,
So
mm.
for me, it's not just masters. It's what have you done that can improve your profile. So for me, I did the
Okay,
residency training. I
okay.
I majored in perio. I did a
Mm,
couple of research. I did my
mm,
thesis. Do you understand? So these are the things that
mm-hmm,
you just put together. Do you understand? So it's
mm-hmm,
not just masters really, but
mm-hmm,
things like that can definitely help your application. Really, I
mm,
won't deny
mm-hmm,
that. But
mm-hmm,
it's not just some people just say that instead of applying, I let me first go and do masters. I feel
mm,
if you feel you have better things, or if you have things that can
mm.
make you stand out, put those things in the application instead of just going to first go and do one year or one hell of masters. But
Okay,
truthfully, those things help your
help a
profile.
lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely,
Y-
definitely.
Okay, so looking back in now, what else apart from the residency, what else do you feel that what else do you feel was in your application that also helped you stand out as well? Like I know you already mentioned the residency and all that, but what else do you feel like, oh, this is something that was also unique about my application and just that can be a form of advice to people as well.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I would say, well, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. Let me put it this way: you're marketing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? You're marketing
Yeah.
yourself, so you're just trying to make sure that you project yourself in the best light possible. So for me, there
Mm-hmm.
are some things that are extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Your SOP extremely important.
Okay.
Even if you spend 40% of your time on your SOP,
Yeah. So that's
extremely
your statement
important.
of purpose. The
Yes,
SOP is the statement of purpose. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Statement of purpose is extremely important. Your letters of recommendation extremely important.
Okay.
Extremely important. Fine, you may you may have minimal influence with one of them, probably from the dean.
Mm.
That is what me I think also. That's what me
Mm.
I think.
Okay.
You may have
Mm-hmm.
minimal influence from what's it called? From because you're supposed to get one letter from the dean of
From the
whatever
dean of your
dental school,
school.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
may have
Yeah.
minimal influence on now.
Okay. On
But
what they write. Yeah.
yes, but the other two, it should be people at least you're comfortable with, people that you have a rapport
Okay.
with, people that know you
Mm.
very well.
Mm.
Do you understand? So you just can't you just can't ask somebody that probably maybe you finished dental school like 7, 8 years ago, and then you're now going back to one your teacher in that maybe you didn't talk to the person like 5, 6 years. You're not asking for a
Yeah.
letter. I felt
Yeah. That's kind of
I
weird.
think it sounds weird because even trying to even strike up a conversation with that kind of person will first put some limitation on how well you can talk to
Yes.
the person.
Yeah. The
So
person might never
I
remember you. Yeah.
exactly, you have to first try to introduce yourself and all. So I think at least the other letters should be people that I'm not saying you should do anything illegal, do you understand? But at least
Yeah. Of
it
course
should
not.
be
Yeah.
it should be people that you have a rapport with. They
Yeah.
can uh,
People
they
that can
put
speak
in
well about you.
not even speak well, speak
Basically.
very well of you. Do you understand?
Of you.
Uh,
Okay.
those letters to me they're very very important.
Mm-hmm.
Your SOP, then basically then your resume too. Your resume too should
Okay.
be it should be concise. It should be organized. It should be easy to read. It should
Mm.
be don't the fact that I said concise does not mean you should put out you should leave out
Important
what's it
things.
called important things, but at the same time too,
Okay.
you shouldn't make your resume unnecessarily long, boring. I was talking to okay, I told you for example, for me in my application I put in my publications.
Okay.
I put in my thesis, and
Mm-hmm.
the number of publications I put in my application is actually
Mm.
not the total number of publications that I have.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But there are some that I just feel no, this one is a turn
It's
off
too
to me.
much. Yeah.
Let
Okay.
me take this out. Let me take this. So I think eventually I put in about maybe 7 publications. No,
Oh. Okay.
I put in five,
Mm-hmm.
and then I put in three. I put in 5 publications and 3 presentations,
Okay.
as in like
Okay.
scientific conferences and all.
Mm.
Which for me I think was just a smart thing to do. I know
Mm.
someone that I know a friend of mine, Indian. Due to I think he did his training in India, and I think
Mm-hmm.
he actually has quite a number of publications. I think he has about 17 publications, and he said he put
Oh
17th
wow.
publication.
Oh
And
wow.
as in, he just told me, he just mentioned it
Yeah.
to me in passing that I put 17 publication,
Yeah.
but I didn't tell
Mm.
him. But
Mm.
when he mentioned 17, I said, okay. What led to it was that I think in his interview, yes, in his
Mm.
interview, the person I interviewed him said that, uh, why are you coming to dental school? You don't need to come to dental school again with all these things that you've done, that you've achieved. So he was not
Yes.
complaining that why would she say that to him, this, that, and also we're not talking. Then he now mentioned the fact that she mentioned that you have 17 publications. So me, I just said to myself that why would you put 17 publications in your resume?
Yes.
You're trying to
Yes.
go to dental school. Just put the relevant
Yeah.
ones, five, six,
Yeah.
7, 8.
Mm. Mm.
Don't make it too boring. Why are you putting
Don't
17
make it too
publications?
boring. Exactly.
Don't make it
But
too
do you
boring. But at the
feel
same time, don't
okay?
leave out important things, really.
Okay. But do you feel like I mean it's funny that you talked about research now. Like do you feel like that is what's the word? Do you think it's a huge deduction from your application if you don't have research?
No, no,
No, okay. Because I
no, it
know
isn't.
there are a lot of people, like I know, so when I was doing my own application, I was on a Facebook group where people were like, there was this username that would just come up and be like, oh, if you want to do research, send me a DM, and a lot of people would like leave comments, like a lot of comments, and I'm like, I don't understand, like, is this research thing very important to have? And at that point, I was like, okay, you know what? I don't have research clearly, So let me look for ways to like make up for it. So I'm happy that you're saying it now that research is not something, it's not like a Georgia
It's not
affair.
absolute. It's not absolute.
Yeah, if you have it, add it,
It's a
but if
good
you
to
don't
have.
have it, yeah. If you don't have it, it doesn't take you out of the game, right? It
Yeah, it's
doesn't.
not absolute.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned that you interviewed at UCLA, Buffalo, USC for your second cycle, your second application cycle. So if can you just list what the requirements were like in terms of like the procedures that you did for the bench test, and then even the schools that you just did, like just the interview, because or rather, actually the three of them actually do bench tests and
Yeah, the
interview, if
three
I'm
of
not
them do.
forgetting. You
Yeah,
three of
the
them,
three
yeah.
of them do
So
benches.
what were the procedures that you did at UCLA, at Buffalo, and then USC as well? And then how did you prepare for it?
Buffalo was, well, I won't say straightforward, but okay. For Buffalo, 5 procedures. You do
Oh,
five
okay,
procedures, yeah. Five
okay,
procedures. You will do amalgam prep and restoration,
okay,
resin prep and restoration,
okay,
and then a PFM crown on an anterior
okay,
tooth. Either 8 or 9, I can't remember right now. But on
okay.
an anterior tooth.
And I it. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So basically, those are the 5 things. And
That's
the thing
pretty
about,
straightforward. Yeah.
yeah, that's straightforward really. And oh, for the restoration, they would have prepped the tooth.
Okay.
So you just
Okay.
restore.
Go there and feel.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just
Okay.
restore.
Okay.
And then for the amalgam preps and restoration, it will be molar, any of the four
Okay.
quadrants.
Okay. Okay.
They could give you prep maybe number 3,
Mhm.
restore 19. Do you understand? Or
Okay.
prep 14,
Yeah.
or restore 14, prep 30. Do you understand?
That. Okay.
So
Okay.
what I did was, since I knew I was going to be prep and restoration, I
Mhm.
prepped and restored. I practiced prep and restoration in all the four quadrants.
Another for accordance. Okay.
For
Okay.
yeah, for resin, it was going to be molar.
Okay.
It was going to be
Okay.
molar. So like I said, so 4, 5. No, I'm not very sure if it was first or second premolar. I can't really remember right now.
Okay.
But
But it was one of the premolars.
it was one of the premolars. So like
Okay.
just
Okay.
like molars too. I
Okay.
practiced all the four quadrants. Do you
Also.
understand?
Okay.
For
Okay.
prep and restoration. So what I was doing was
Okay.
that I will prep a tooth. Do you understand? Critique
Mhm.
myself. Okay, whatever
Mhm.
it is. If I need to make adjustments, I will adjust. Then
Mhm.
now restore that same tooth.
Okay. Okay.
Do you
Makes sense.
understand? So at least the hair.
Uh.
So I was like
Okay.
saving teeth and all. So
Saving costs
basically,
and everything. Okay. Okay. Okay.
so that was basically what I did. Then,
Okay.
like I said, the PFM prep is on anterior to 8 or 9. I can't
Okay.
really remember now, but that one you just prep,
Okay.
so that one you don't have a
Yeah.
choice. Yeah.
Okay.
So then for USC, ah, I know UCLA was just class
Oh,
2
okay.
prep.
Okay.
So,
Okay. How
and it
many
was not even
procedures
mounted.
or just
It
all
was
class
just
two?
one.
Oh, okay. And not
It was
mounted.
just
Wow,
one.
that's good.
Is handheld,
Oh, okay.
class 2.
Okay.
Then
Did you find that more
USC.
difficult or much easier?
It's
Because you know
easier.
how like you're
It's
prepping
easier.
something on a stable, it's easier.
It's easier.
Okay. 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 Okay.
But
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it's easier for you, you should also
Mm.
remember the fact that it's easier for everybody. Do you
Okay.
understand? So
Okay.
just
So you have to be perfect.
exactly, it has to be
Mm-hmm.
on point, spot on, no
Okay.
issues. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Okay.
That's
Okay.
just my
Okay.
own thinking. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Fine, it's
Yeah.
easier. You can turn it, do it any way you want it. Do you understand? But
Mm-hmm.
that's just the issue I have with it is just that okay, the fact that I think it's easier doesn't mean that you should just do an acceptable prep. To
Yeah,
do
prep.
something, it
True.
has to be excellent. Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then for even USC was even ah I can't remember if USC
Okay.
was mounted
Okay.
or
Or
handled. I think it
not.
was handled too. It was handled too.
Okay. 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 Okay.
That one, what did we do? Oh my God. I think it was prep also. It
Okay.
was crown prep on, oh my God. I think
It's
it was that
okay if you
six or,
can't
I
remember.
think it was
It's
6 or
been
11.
2 years ago.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was 6 or 11.
Okay.
That one too was handled. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they asked us to, then they just gave us a block of wax
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
And
that's
then
true. Yes, he does wax
yeah,
cabin. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
and they can tell you to wax anything.
Mm.
They can tell you to wax anything. For example, for me or for my
Mm.
set, they
Mm.
asked, oh God, those people, they asked us, they just drew a shape of, it was a cube,
Okay.
pyramid, and
Mm.
sphere, all joined
Ah,
together.
ah,
And they said to
ah.
wax it up.
Ah,
Or well, just something funny, sha.
okay.
They will tell you to just wax up anything. I think it
Yeah.
was, yeah, that was what they asked us to wax up. Yes. Cube, either cube, sphere, and pyramid, or cube, pyramid, and sphere, or something
Okay.
funny. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, that was it. Yeah.
So
Now
you're gonna
for
carve up what you see on the wax, basically.
yes,
Okay.
you carve
Okay.
it up.
Okay. Okay.
Then for Washington,
Mm-hmm.
well, that one is a crazy one.
What did you do, Lord?
We did class two prep.
Okay. Okay.
We did MOD amalgam restoration.
Oh, okay.
We did class three prep.
Okay.
We did class four restoration. We did. Wait now, I'm not finished. We did crown prep.
Ah,
It was yes, it was crown prep. It was all ceramic with what's it called? It was supposed to be all ceramic with chamfer margin. So basically, they don't have to
okay.
do like zirconia.
Yeah, yeah.
So that one first even threw me off. Now what is this? Because all my life I've always known all ceramic with shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Then we weren't finished though.
Ah,
Wax. We did wax up.
really?
We did wax up. We did denture design. No, we did survey and denture design. Yeah,
Wonderful. Are you for real? You
yeah.
guys is surveying, as in RPD
So
surveying.
yes, RPD and then design a
Wow.
denture.
So how did you manage? Well, I mean, obviously they probably tell you that in Nigeria, but like, did you know of this ahead of before you went for the interview, or that came to you as a shock?
It came as a shock, but it's
Wow.
funny.
You just did nothing. You have to just figure it out.
Although for me, that was not even so much of a big deal for me. Sha. Even the survey was
Okay.
not even the big deal for me. You know,
Okay.
maybe because of my precario training and because of my
Okay.
residency training before part one. So at
Okay.
least
Okay.
I had a little bit
Of
understanding
an
of
idea. Yeah.
denture design. Do you understand?
Okay.
So that
Okay.
was even not too bad for me. But it was
Okay.
just too
Okay.
much. The wax up, it was
Yeah.
just too much.
That's a lot. That's the whole
It
of
was just too
dentistry
much.
in how many hours? That's a lot.
So no, it was over 3 days. It was a 3 day.
Oh, okay. So
We
it
did
was a
written.
3 day.
We did
Okay. Okay. Okay.
written. We did written, orals, and then the pen test. So
And the
it was
bench.
like we were in
Okay.
batches. We were in batches.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
it
the
was a three
reading
day.
was okay. So the reading was it like
It
an
was the first day.
essay? Okay. So that was
It
the
was
first
just
day.
like yeah, it was more or less like a case presentation, a case
Oh, okay.
scenario, and then
Okay.
give like a couple of questions, basically on how to manage the patient. Really,
Oh, okay.
mm,
Okay.
really,
Okay.
it wasn't so much of a big deal. If you know patients with medical conditions, how they relate to
Yeah.
oral health and our hair, so
Yeah.
that one was not
Yeah.
so much of a big deal, really. Really,
Okay.
because they'll give you everything, the patient's history, clinical picture,
Okay. Okay.
radiographs, and also
Mm-hmm.
you would see it, and then
So
it's
you're
not.
writing an essay to create like a case presentation for the patient, basically is what you're doing,
And
right?
it wasn't an essay really, but it was
Okay.
just um asking questions about what has been presented to you. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe
Okay. Okay.
things like maybe what medical conditions do you think are affect the management of this patient, or what would you
Okay.
like to consider? Do you
Okay.
understand? In
Yeah.
managing this
Yeah.
patient. So maybe things
Okay.
like okay, patient is diabetic. You want
Okay.
to make sure
Okay.
that under control. Patient is under
Mm-hmm.
a couple of medications. So the
Mm-hmm.
patient might be prone to xerostomia or dry mouth. Yeah, things like that. So it's
Okay.
not once your clinical acumen is good,
Yeah.
you'll be able to
So figure
answer
it.
these questions.
Okay. Okay, but the other schools were one day, like UCLA was one day, Buffalo was one day, USA was one day, or they were all
Buffalo was 2 days.
2 days.
Buffalo was 2 days.
2 days.
You do
Okay.
the bed test, then if you pass the bed test, then you go for the interview. Yeah.
For the interview. So the interview will be
You
the second day.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What's it called?
USC.
UCLA too was like
UCLA.
that too.
Oh, okay.
UCLA was
Okay.
bed test and then interview. USC was one day. Everything was one day.
Was one day. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Colorado too
Okay.
was one day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that brings me to my next question of asking, like, so now we've talked about the bench test experience. For those that are
Yeah.
just joining us newly, we're talking with Dr. Fasoyiro. He's explaining to us what his experience was interviewing at Buffalo. Got so good. He also interviewed at other schools, and we're also, getting a lot of information about how the bench test is as well. We're talking about UCLA, we're talking about Washington, we're talking about Buffalo and USC. So for those that are joining newly, if you have any questions, you can use the chat box or the comment section. I'll see it and then we'll do a Q&A at the end as well. So my next question is, we've spoken about the bench test. Let's now focus on the interview process itself. You mentioned that if you pass the bench test and you're asked back for an interview, or if it was USC, you do everything the same day. So what was the interview process like? Let's just start with that first.
Well, basically, for the interview, they already have your application. Do you understand?
Okay. Okay.
So they know what to expect.
Okay.
So, but basically, for me, interview is really not a big deal. If you
Okay.
can talk, you can make sense.
Okay.
I guess, well, okay, let me rephrase. The strategy I think behind interviews that just make sure you go there and make them like you.
Okay.
Do you
And
understand?
sell
Just need to
yourself,
put
basically.
exactly sell yourself
Okay.
exactly. So
Okay.
just make sure you present yourself in a way that this person has to join, this person will be a good fit for the class. Do you
Okay. Okay.
understand? And then there are some things that it should be at the back of your hand before you go for the interview. As in,
Okay.
it's almost certain they will ask you, tell us about
Okay.
yourself. So at least you'll be able to talk about yourself in 2-3 minutes. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't say we repeat what is on your resume. Do you understand? But at least just make sure that whatever you are saying, it tallies with what is on the resume. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So tell us about yourself. It's almost certain why the school you're applying to. Do you understand? So there are
Yeah.
you should have like at least 4 or 5 reasons.
Okay.
That one, as in, without thinking, you should be able to list 4 or 5 reasons about the school, read about the school. So you should have those at the back of your mind, or not at the back of your hand. Let's just be there. Here.
Comes
Then
easy. Yeah.
exactly. Then basically, like I said, make them like you, make them be I'm trying to look for the word now. I don't want to use the word audible, but be clear. Do you
Okay. Yes.
understand?
Yeah.
Know what your issues are. For example, I tend to speak fast.
Okay.
That's my own problem. I tend to speak fast. I'm from Nigeria, so there's an accent issue. So imagine combining accent issue with speaking fast. People
Fast.
won't
Okay.
understand. So I guess that affected me with Colorado because
Okay.
when I asked for a feedback, so they mentioned that the interviewers at some point or had a bit of difficulty understanding me.
Understanding you. Okay.
So at that point, I knew that okay, I need to work on slowing down a little bit, making sure that at least whatever I say, there's nothing I can do about the accent. This is my accent. There's nothing I can do about that one.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so make a conscious effort to speak slowly. Do you understand? So understand yourself. So people do mocks, as I know a couple of people do mock
Like
interviews and all,
mock
but I think
interviews. Okay.
but for me, I think I'm pretty much comfortable with interviews. So
Mm.
I really don't I didn't do any of those things. It was just okay. I have some things at the back of my head, and then just take me anywhere. We will talk. I would answer your question. I would You understand? Just be relaxed, be calm, make sense, but most importantly, sell yourself. Do you understand? And then most of the people you'll be talking to, they are white, right? And I think, or at least from my observation, is that they tend to like stories. Don't be too serious. Don't be too
Okay. Okay.
serious. Don't be too serious. Talk about, there's some things that you can do for fun. There's some there was there was it was even my birthday interview. You go in twice. My first interview, I did most of the talking.
Okay.
But at some point, we were even talking about other things, about my kids, about traveling, about my research work. It was not even the research work that I was talking about, because what I did was I worked on pregnant women.
Okay.
So we were talking about meeting different people
Okay.
and what they go, or meeting different women and
Okay.
their states during
Okay.
pregnancy. So that's what we're
Okay.
just basically talking about and all. So it was more of like an informal chat. It ended up turning to an informal conversation. You
Conversation. Okay.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Then another thing I should also add is that it makes sense to at least ask one or two questions.
Mm.
Ask one or two
Mm.
questions. Ask about the school, ask about the program, ask about just when you read about the school, some things will come up. So
Okay.
just have one or two. It should be sensible questions. Don't go ask stupid questions. It should
Yes.
be it should be stimulating questions that even the person you're asking should.
Be
For
like,
example,
wow.
now the first person I interviewed, when I asked him my question, so he now said that he won't be in the best position to answer the
The
question.
question.
That the
Okay.
second person
Mm.
would answer the question. And so
Okay.
when I went to meet the second person for my
Mm.
interview,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say a word. We were just
Okay.
answering the question. So I
Okay.
was out of like the 20 minutes that I spent with the guy. Maybe the
Mm-hmm.
guy talks a lot, I don't know, but I would say he
Mm-hmm.
spent about 15 minutes doing the talking
Okay.
because I was listening.
Mm.
So for
Listen.
the
Okay.
second part of my interview, I didn't. That's for
You didn't really
Buffalo.
talk much.
I
Yeah.
didn't talk much. I
Okay.
didn't even. I won't say I said anything really,
Mm.
because it was from the first question. It was the question I asked the first person.
That did
That
not answer.
the first person I went to tell the second person that this person asked this
Okay.
question.
This
Do you
question.
understand?
Okay. Okay.
So when I got in, that was the first thing they said, that I was told you have this question, this, and all,
Okay.
and then they
Okay.
took it from there. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I spoke for more than 2 minutes in that second interview.
Oh,
I was
okay. That's
basically
good.
listening.
Okay. Were there any like
Hmm.
clinical questions from any of the schools like during the interview process?
Clinical
Like did they
questions.
ask you any like did they ask you about any clinical? I know you said in University of Washington like you were given a
Colo-
case and then you wrote
yeah,
that.
but
But
for
like
the
in
interview,
interviewing process, yeah,
no,
did they ask you any clinical
no,
questions? Okay.
no. But I think
Mm-hmm.
Colorado had a clinical question. Yeah,
Okay.
I think they
Okay.
gave like a bite wing, or they should give one
Oh,
radiograph,
okay.
and they will
And
actually
then
talk
ask you
about the
to
radiograph.
interpret it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So basically,
Perfect.
that was it.
Okay.
So
All right. So basic.
then,
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, I was also no, not clinical question, but was Washington had like they call it M&M, or I can't remember what they call it, like case scenarios,
MMI.
MMI or
Okay.
something, or
Okay.
MMI.
Okay.
They call it the terminology for it, but I can't remember right now. Where
Okay.
they just paint a scenario.
Okay.
Do you understand? They may tell you to
Mhm.
just pick one, paint a scenario, then tell you to answer the question about it, or tell you
Mm.
to yeah. They can just paint. What was my scenario? So, oh God,
It's like this
I'm
University of
even.
Washington is very, very like tedious because and it's so funny because I don't really know that many people that interviewed at University of Washington. So maybe that's why, because that's a lot for
Oh,
a
well, for
versus an
me, it's a two-way
interview.
thing. It's a two-way thing, because a place like University of Washington is tedious, but if you can get, I believe that if you can get um an invite to University of Washington,
Mhm.
you stand the higher chance of getting in compared to a place like Colorado, or compared to a place like
Okay.
even Buffalo, because I
Okay.
think
Okay.
we were 30 that they invited,
Okay.
and they wanted
Okay.
to pick eight. That's one in three,
Oh.
right? Or let's say the
Okay.
one
That's
in
not bad.
four.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
four.
Yeah.
So I believe that, but for me, it was bad. It was bad. My interview was good, but my bed test was bad. I nicked my adjacent from my class 2. My crown prep was more of a shoulder. I didn't do the corner finish line. I didn't do a chamfer finish line. So my bed test was bad. That one I know it was bad, but my interview was good. And I think I was ranked, even at that too, I was ranked 13th or 15th.
Oh, so they even give you like your ranking in the whole site. Oh, okay, that's good feedback.
That's what you can do. You can some schools give you feedback. I know Colorado gives feedback. Washington gave me feedback because I called to find out. Do you understand? So that can also help. Okay. When I called with Washington and Colorado, so I knew I need to improve my preparation for bed test, and then for my interview, I need to at least be a bit more clearer. Speak slowly.
Slowly.
So those are the things that can also help you too. Even if you don't get selected in your first cycle, if whatever it is, still at least just try to take something from it. Find out why. Try to find out why. Some schools do. I know Colorado does. I know Washington does. Not all schools do it. I'm not sure if Buffalo does it, but try to find out why. If we one way or the other, come in handy.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Fasoyiro. So we've come to the end of the session. What we have left is just the Q&A questions. I have some questions here. I don't think we're gonna have enough time to like answer it. So is it okay if I end this and then bring you back for like a second session? It's probably for like another 30 minutes.
When? How many questions do you
have? So it's 1, 2, 3, 5 questions. I don't know if you can finish it in 9 minutes because this is gonna end.
Okay. I get
so maybe like
so
another 20 minutes.
Session,
and then start another one.
Under 20 minutes, take it that.
Yes.
So,
or 15
you know what
minutes.
we can do?
Okay.
Let's take 1 or 2 now.
Okay. All right. So so this person is asking that you mentioned that you live in Calgary and that you were schooling in the US. What was the experience like having your family here and then schooling in the US? Like, how were you able to manage that?
It wasn't easy, but we have to do it, really. My family have to stay back in Calgary because we live in Calgary, so Calgary is home for us. My folks in Calgary are here, so it wasn't easy. Do you understand? I would confess, but I then also the program is not that. I won't say. Okay, the program won't give you that opportunity to come home as much as you would love
as often as you want to.
Yeah, exactly. But I tried to come home as much as I could. Once in maybe 2 months. Do you understand? Once in 6 weeks. But that was why I said I wanted the schools towards the west.
Okay.
I was a bit closer, but unfortunately I was just located in those schools. So
so you're busy traveling back and forth.
Shortly, yeah, but it wasn't it wasn't that frequent, but maybe let's say once in 6 weeks, once in 2 months.
Okay, that makes sense. So this person is asking, so now that you're finished, you've graduated, looking back, do you feel like it was worth it, like going back to school?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Okay. Do you want to like elaborate on that, or let's just keep it at that because we have just 6 minutes?
Okay. Well, like I said, everything boils down to what you want. Yeah, everything boils down to what you want. Everything boils down to what you think you would want to do to improve on yourself. Personally, I evaluated myself. One, our training in Nigeria, you understand what I'm saying? Our training in Nigeria is geared towards surgery. An average Nigerian dentist is good in surgery. An average Nigerian surgeon can do extraction easily. An average Nigerian dentist can, you understand? Then I'm not measured in peri again. So I would say as a dentist, for me, it would be a great disservice if I don't pick more skills when it comes to restorative dentistry, which I feel is actually dentistry. You understand?
That's the bulk of dentistry.
I had the option of getting into a program in perio So if I do that, I know that is the end of dentistry for me in the sense
For
that
you.
nothing restorative anymore. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
go back to what's it called, dental school,
Mm.
and pick up restorative dentistry. Do you understand?
Mm.
Which I
Yeah.
think, which I lacked from
From
Nigeria.
your
Do you
training.
understand? So, so
Okay.
that's why I said it boils down to what you want. Do you understand? Well, but
Okay.
just evaluate yourself and then decide that okay, this is what I want to do. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I think for me, it was worth it for me to
Okay.
go back and get the DDS instead of trying to get
Okay.
into a postgraduate program.
Okay. Perfect. So I think we might be able to finish. So we have three more questions. One of the questions I'll probably like take it during another session because it's very elaborate. It's asking
Mm-hmm.
about how easy it is to get a loan. That's a whole
That's
conversation.
another story entirely.
Exactly. So this person is asking, how does it feel going back to school? Like, were there any unique challenges that you had to overcome? Like after leaving school for such a long time, were there any unique challenges that you had to like now overcome?
Well, I think going back to school self is even a challenge on its own. Going back,
True.
deciding to go back to school is a challenge on its own. Do you understand? And then
Yeah, yeah.
trying to learn um, dentistry as dentistry should be, because we're
Mm-hmm.
basically trying to learn that. Yeah, okay, because things that we now or I had the training now afforded the opportunity to now do things hands on compared to reading the books that we used to do
Mm.
in Nigeria. For example, perfect
Yeah, yeah.
example. While in school, I'm sure you too. I'm sure you too. You can relate to this. You have
Mm-hmm.
your own surveyor. You have your articulator.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Yeah.
understand? You
Mm-hmm.
do everything by yourself. You design all the cases. You do understand? You survey all cast. But
Mm.
for in Nigeria, it's just surveying is theory. Survey, do you
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Or pindexing or a
Mm.
crown. All those things is textbook. Do you understand?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's it gave me the opportunity to at least do things that I just used to
Just
read about.
imagine. Yeah.
Imagine. Do you
Mhm.
understand? So
Mhm. Mhm.
I won't say the challenge on its own, but at least you are going to school to learn. So even
Yeah.
if you even if you've read about it or even if
Mhm.
you've done it before, do you understand? The
Yeah.
opportunity to improve on it. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
for me, it
Makes
was
sense.
not as much as a challenge, but you're going to learn. So
Yeah.
eventually, it took
And
care
you
of.
and honestly, like things like that, you get used to it, you adapt, and then you overcome, and then your
Yeah,
life goes on.
exactly. As
Yeah.
in spot on. Because
Yeah.
I remember like the first few times that I wanted to mount. Oh my god! Or my first indexing, it was what is going
Yeah.
on here. But at some
Yeah.
point, you even do it without thinking. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's just turn to as in all Facebook. You want to
Mm.
take Facebook record, not trying to use the Facebook record to mount. Do you understand?
Mm.
The first time it
Mm.
was like, what are we doing here? But with
Yeah.
time, you get used to it.
All
So,
right. Okay, no worries. Thank you very much, Dr. Shumfashiro. There are a few
okay.
more questions, but I'll just take them on my next session because they are really long. And then there's someone who asked something about preliminary steps, like the first steps they used to take in terms of like applying to the US or Canada. All this information is on my page. So I'm not gonna bother you with that. Like they can go on my page, there are different articles that I wrote about that. There are two more questions. So you guys just have to stay tuned for more speakers that we have to come and speak to us. We have taken up enough time from Dr. Shehu Fashiro. Thank you so much for agreeing to
Yeah,
do this. Thank
welcome.
you so much. All right. All right. So that brings us to the end of our live session for today. We have a few more speakers who are also going to come speak to us, and then I'll take the two remaining questions then. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Everyone have a good day. Bye.
All right. Take care of yourself. Have a good
Thank
one.
you
Bye.
very much. All right, bye.